Okay, today I'm going to finish packing in the yarn from the next to the last loop. I will still have one complete loop and the final single strand to do. I'm pushing the yarn further out of the way than I would need to because I want that last open space to be open, plenty open. Excuse me. Trying to learn how I can do videos with my digital camera here, and I don't have an assistant to help me. So now we'll start with a loop. So I've been reaching through the hook halfway, only in 2 passes I'm able to get it through. It's going to get even more difficult than that, so I think I'll just try to do it in 3. If you have a 14-inch hook, you can it gets a little tight down here. You can reach a long ways with a 14-inch hook. Oh my. I may have to push that down a little bit. Then I can get it on a hook. Now we got it. I pull a lot of slack. Anyway, I think I can do this. I think I can do that all in one pass. If I try to stand out of the way of the camera, it's awkward. So just like all along, you have to keep those strands parallel when it gets tight, because you don't want to get them crossed over. So I'm still able to do it in 2 passes. If you had an extra long hook, I suppose you could still do it in 1. So the one that I have to grab is this one, the one that's being woven. And not the tail. Okay, over under. In hindsight, I wish I would have woven more loosely. When I start to pull that, it's when I have to make sure I'm keeping the yarns parallel and separate. And pull lots of slack. Oh, I have to do it in stages. I pulled it through most of the length of the hook. About 12 inches of the 14 I used to reach through until it got, the diagonals got too long. twist the hook so that I'm getting it parallel there. The scarf that I'm weaving, I don't know if you'd even call it a scarf because it's not that long, but it depends on how long you want it, I guess. So I definitely need to pull some slack. And that would be not that, but this one. Oh, or do I have it crossed? Oh my. This is the one that is the tail. And yes, I have it crossed. That is the woven one. And it needs to be, oh no, I have it right. It's all good. Best to leave enough slack that you can access there. Didn't weave on this since yesterday, so the position of the yarn, the right return wasn't so fresh. I haven't been doing it over and over again. Wow. That's almost enough. Oh, cinematography here. I'm over here somewhere. That I have twisted. There's a short span, so if it's still twisted, I can straighten it out by separating those. Okay, hook it on two of the last three hooks there. This is the tail. I'm going to separate these just to be sure. I can see though that they're not twisted. Right? Well, so if I use the pick, I guess it'd be easy to separate these like they're supposed to be. You can see the space between them, you know you got it right. Now I can pull on the tail, pre-woven. It takes the two outside pins that are still there. So there's only going to be one pin left. Okay. Pull out that slack. One pin left there. So now, separate these again. When I get that last single strand in there, I will push the yarns back where they should be to get the spacing better. All along I've been trying to have the spacing as it should be, but I wanted to make more space for the last single path, so strand, so I push them further out than they are going to be eventually. When taking off the loom, the yarns will sort of equalize, but you want to get them better than that. So now I will take and measure the amount needed. And that's how much it's going to take. It's going to take a little more than that because of the weaving action. Plus, if I was going to use have a tail there, or a fringe, I wouldn't want to cut it too short. So this is where, excuse me, some people will want to needle weave. I don't have a needle, and I still think I can do this in 2 passes. I guess this is what I wanted to show, that finishing the weaving at the end doesn't have to be as painstaking or time consuming. It is a little problematic right down there, I suppose you could say, because it's really tight, but I've got it. It went around that pin. Now you wouldn't have to worry about having all that parallel so much now, because you're only going to have one single strand. And this is where some people would want to do special treatment, as in lino lace, for instance. Which one's the tail? There we go. Get that out of there. I would hope somebody would make a video showing any part of this, all of the continuous weaving on the rectangle, and do, you know, a better job than I am. That's just fine with me. That looks like maybe I should do three stages to get the yarn. See, we want to pull on the woven one. Doesn't matter if you pull it all the way out, I guess. I don't weave all the time, because I make the loom. That's what I do. I think it's good to do the first part of the pass and a little short spurt here because it can get kind of tight right there by the pin. It would be a lot more fun for somebody to be doing this themselves than to watching me do it, that's for sure. And if somebody wanted to build a loom for themselves, if you look on Etsy, you can find someone. No, I'm not naming names, but I've heard that somebody has with the pin formula and weaving instructions, other digital files on Etsy for sale, instant download. And he will even support whatever you, any questions you have or help. He's available via email or Etsy Convo, their messaging system. So that yarn is getting around that last single pin. It will lock in every other loop, every other continuous loop that's been done. On a rectangle continuous weave, all the sides, the long side and the ends, are locked in. You don't have to do a blanket weave or any other kind of stitch. There'll only be the starting end and the finishing yarn end. I've already tied that one in. I will this one. I had that looped over all three nails, but now I don't. So I go over, under. I don't know that you have to tie that in, and you don't have to, I've seen some people, they want to weave it in to the, I think I've got the yarn split right there. Now I shouldn't be. Come on. Why is it tight? We'll try another grab at it. I have the yarn speared with the hook tip. So now is when I could, let's see, I want to reach through, grab some yarn, pull it back out, and tie an overhand knot around the nearest cross yarn there. You're not really using that corner nail. Now, on a long shawl, you may want to put a fringe on both ends. I've learned something from the Facebook group. When you put a fringe on, like these fringes, I didn't know, but it's called, excuse me, it's called a lark's head fringe, or lark's head knot. So you take the middle, or we used to call it the bite, oops, do this very often either. Anyway, this is a good way to make a fringe because you can have all the yarns cut the same length, and that's how you could make a fringe. And so both corners are tied in, and I'm not going to finish the fringe on this. It could be done afterwards. If if I hadn't woven as tightly, it would probably come off easier. Also, if you make your loom with finishing nails, brads, something that doesn't have such a big head, it's going to come off a lot easier. It's pretty tough yarn, this cheap acrylic, so I'm not too worried about breaking the yarn. But I do want to go ahead and take it off. I hope this video works, because otherwise I'll have to weave a whole nother. And if you had a special fiber, some kind of wool, plant fiber that you would, it might help it a lot to block it. Otherwise, that's the Hideaway loom being woven on. Right return method. Thank you very much.